Hello, I am a tired dad. I'm also Jake Landau, a human being who loves soccer. So thank you for sticking with me on this channel as I figure out how it's gonna work while I become a new parent and also still try to make amazing and high quality soccer content for you all because I love this community. I love reading every comment. I love responding to every comment. So thank you for watching. I appreciate you. Just know that before we get started on the video because tonight I'm tired, but I'm still wanting to talk about this. It's really important to me and I'm really excited for the summer. Let's talk today about the US Women's National Team, about their dominance over the soccer world over the last few decades and how that all might change in 2023 because we have the most competitive World Cup coming up this summer. We can't even start today without briefly mentioning the dominance that the US has held over the women's soccer world for the last 3 decades. We have 4 World Cup wins, including the last 2 from 2019 and 2015. Now, for as dominant as teams have been on both sides of the spectrum, men's and women's, Brazil, Argentina, Spain, Germany, no team has ever won 3 World Cups in a row, and that is a feat. That is a moment in history that the US is trying to get to this summer. But gone are the days where the US will dominate every team that they play against and be the favorites in every team that they play against, because this will be the first tournament where a team has even odds with the US going into the World Cup. England and the US are both at 3-1. So today, that's what I want to focus on. I want to focus on what the US Women's National Team looks like right now. What are some of the challenges that we've been going through? How have we gotten through it? What do we look like going into this tournament? But I also want to focus on the World's Game because I don't think it gets talked enough. I saw it living in England for the last few years that the WSL and the Women's Champions League is selling out Camp Nou in Barcelona, is selling out the Emirates at Arsenal. These are leagues, these are talent levels that will match the US, that will match NWSL. So I really want to highlight those, think about the teams that could pose the US problems going into the World Cup. So let's cover all of that now. For as good as this team has been over the last few decades, after 2019, it has been a bit rocky. We will talk about the Olympics, but even at the end of last year, the US went through their worst form in the last 30 years, losing 3 consecutive games for the first time since 1993. Aside from the 2-1 loss to England, the 2-0 loss to Spain, and the 2-1 loss to Germany to end 2022, we also had a catastrophic failure in the Tokyo Olympics played in 2021. Not only did an aging squad lose to our regional rivals Canada in the semifinals, we also had a blowout 3-0 loss against Sweden in the group stages. We eventually were able to take the bronze from Australia, but even that was a close nail-biter of a game. There have been a lot of challenges and changes for head coach Vlatko Andonovski. I'm thinking about Megan Rapinoe, Tobin Heath, Carly Lloyd. These are legendary players that we've had to replace, and we don't necessarily have a young player ready to step up and match that production. The team has also been challenged to find a new and innovative identity, trying to create that confidence and optimism that's shown in some of those legendary teams before them. But like we said in the beginning of this video, this is not just a changing landscape for Andonovski and the US Women's National Team, but the world of women's football as a whole. So let's talk about that next. We need to mention alongside the NWSL is also the Women's League in Germany, in Spain, in England, that have all started to ramp up talent development, talent identification, and the investment in their players and their academies. There are threats from everywhere for the US coming into this tournament, not just in the knockout rounds, but in our own group. I mentioned England as a team that is currently matching the US Women's National Team as odds-on favorites to win the World Cup at 3-1. They were dealt a huge blow last week when Leah Williamson went off with the supposed ACL injury. And we'll see as we talk about these teams how much knee injuries are playing a part in what the talent is that's coming to this tournament. Beth Mead, also from England, will be out with a knee injury. Mallory Swanson will likely be out with a patella injury. The Netherlands will be missing Maidema. And still, England will bring a loaded squad with headliners like Fran Kirby and Lucy Bronze. They'll also be coming into the tournament as Euro winners. And the Euro runners-up, Germany at a 6-1 favorite. France now, with Hervé Renard as coach, will look to improve their standing. France is at 7-1 favorites to win this tournament. The Euro semi-finalist Spain, finally with Alexia Putellas back from a knee injury, will be 6-1 favorites to win this tournament. The Netherlands, even without Viviana Maidema, still have a strong squad and are 16-1 favorites. And Sweden, who beat the US 3-0 in that 2021 Olympic opener, are 14-1 to win this tournament. And that's just in Europe. Even in our own region in South America and in Oceania, there are very strong contenders here because Brazil is at a 25-1 to win this tournament. Our regional rival Canada, always dangerous, are also at 25-1 odds, and host Australia with Sam Kerr can't be ruled out. They are 14-1 odds favorites to win this tournament. Like I said, the US will absolutely face difficult competition in the knockout rounds, but even in their own group, they will face one of the dark horses in this tournament, the Netherlands. They also have Vietnam, which we should easily get past, and then Portugal, who you would think on the men's side is a world power, but on the women's side, they have a lot of ground to cover. So Portugal and the Netherlands will be the two games that the US really needs to focus on, and if we don't get 3 points from the Netherlands, there won't be a lot of wiggle room to get out of this group. In the round of 16, we could potentially play Italy or Sweden. And in the quarterfinal matchups, really anyone is up for grabs, but the most likely scenarios have us playing Spain, Japan, Norway, or Switzerland, all very difficult teams. When you think about the US women's national team and our areas for improvement, having Julie Ertz back is huge for the US because as a box-to-box midfielder, we didn't necessarily have anyone that could play that. We had defensive midfielders like Andy Sullivan, we had attacking midfielders like Rose Lavelle or Caterina Macario, and not really someone that could be a solid number 8 for us. Julie Ertz fills that gap, allows us to play with a single or double pivot, and really gives us a lot of flexibility and talent in the middle of the pitch. Another big question for us is, can we reproduce Mallory Swanson's production for this team? Alyssa Thompson and Trinity Rodman are good wingers, but Mallory Swanson is world-class and really difficult to replace. Sophia Smith is an amazing attacking player, usually plays in the center of the pitch though as a number 9. So if we are going to play her in Mallory Swanson's position, she will be playing more as a winger and a little bit more out of her natural position. Our defense seems to be gelling at the right time. Naomi Girma is my favorite player on the US Women's National Team, and I feel like we don't talk about the defense enough for this team. Defense is going to win championships. I think Naomi Girma is going to be critical for that. Another key for us is going to be capitalizing on opponents' mistakes in the final third. Can we press high? Can we force those mistakes in those dangerous areas? Get the ball into Alex Morgan and score some goals here. That will be really important for the US continuing their run and getting the three-peat done. I think we have to acknowledge that this is going to be a really competitive tournament, that this is probably going to be the biggest uphill battle for the US Women's National Team that they've faced. I think all of this just emphasizes the importance of preparation and adaptability in a highly competitive environment. That's the video for today. Thank you so much for watching. This is probably like a 6-minute video and it took me about 20 minutes of filming to do. So I appreciate you for sticking with me. If you are interested in learning more about the knee injuries that are plaguing the women's game right now, make sure to watch this video next, and I'll see you next time on It's Called Soccer. Peace.